LinkedIn, network is just going, one person knows another person who can introduce you to another person, and suddenly you are in a national newspaper. So yeah, just start local, try to introduce yourself, network, go to networking events where you see there's an appropriate one. There's so many media people often there, people who can help you with your marketing, with your social media, but then also introduce you maybe to someone they know that has, that knows an editor there, or that knows a radio station or a TV station. And yeah, make yourself interesting to My name is Pia, and I've got my hands in a little bit of everything in terms of veganism. So I'm specialized in marketing, mostly fundraising marketing. So I work at a big charity here in the UK, which is called the Dogs Trust, which is a special rehabilitation and rehoming center, or a network of rehoming centers for dogs specifically. So this is where my background in marketing sits. I am responsible for the marketing and the outreach and to get our name out there for the whole of the Sussex area. Things like community awareness, doing events, making sure our supporters know about all the services we are doing. So a lot of it is that, and obviously there's fundraising and communications, things like radio interviews about the work we are doing, and all that kind of PR stuff, and social media, of course. So this is what my day job is. And then by night, or during COVID, I started a vegan food bank. So I'm a founder and trustee at a now multi-award-winning food bank, which is the first of its kind here in my town, and it's completely vegan. So it's focusing on anti-food waste, on obviously nutrition. I'm also a certified nutritionist, which comes with that. And on sustainability, on making sure that there is this view that beggars can't be choosers. I don't know if you have that in America as well, that saying. So it's quite an English saying, beggars can't be choosers. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to food and to basic essentials, there should be a choice, and there should be a choice to be vegan or to be plant-based. So this is where we came and then started a food bank, which has been running since March last year. And has been growing. It has been in the news. So again, this is where my marketing background comes in, especially from social media and getting things out there. So we have been featured, for example, in the Telegraph, in the newspaper. We have been featured in various radio stations, TV channels, and so on and so forth. So yeah, just getting the word out there. And I think this is the new, or the future of veganism. It's about getting as many people aware of what's going on, and there's obviously different methods and different opinions out there, especially when it comes to activism and to the things that you can do. So I think everything has a place, because everyone reacts differently to different things. You just need to know your key audience and know where to where to go. And I think this is where businesses nowadays can really tap in. So for example, I love to take the example of Oatly. Oatly have done, although they have been a bit controversial over the last couple of weeks, but they have done such a great job in getting themselves out there, tapping into the market, and then becoming more and more bold with their advertising, and with, being a little bit cheeky even in terms of advertising their oat milk versus, it's milk just for humans, for example. And it goes on big buses across London and the big cities here. And people are, it's in your face, it's bold, but it's also not as in your face as what some of the activists do with, with the very graphic content. So, and I think this has spoken to a lot of people to think, okay, let's try this, because everyone's talking about it. It's literally in everyone's mouth. So, yeah. So yeah, this is where kind of my background sits. So I do a lot of consultancy. I also run a vegan or a vlog, a video blog in my town, which is called A Vegan Guide to Worthing, where we basically just promote businesses, predominantly independent businesses, small independent businesses who are extremely vegan friendly or completely vegan, and give them a little bit of a spotlight and a highlight to shine. Because again, I think it's the more it's out there, and the internet is your friend. Google is your best friend. Google Ads is your best friend. Google Display Networking is your best friend. Just make use of what's out there and and go from there.
You make me feel better that I'm not the only one doing a million things, where I'm doing the
No.
documentary, which is this channel. I'm starting a vegan subscription business. I'm guest blog post writing for the Vegan Review. I'm just writing an article for Veg News and doing more marketing work on the side. So the more people I talk to doing more stuff, at least it's not just me. So that's great.
No.
I actually, it's not published on my channel yet, but I just interviewed a man, Stephen Clark. He's starting a business in America or Canada. So US and Canada, there's 55 million people that don't have adequate access to food. So he's starting a for-profit business model that's addressing the problem. So what was his phrase? It was, everybody must win more than they put in. So this ties into what you're doing in the fundraising for charities in this frame. So pretty much he produces like oatmeal and like bars and stuff where it's for 39 Canadian dollars. It's 30 meals that go donated through, I think, some nonprofit organization. So this way, the transparency is there, where people know exactly, they buy the meals, they know exactly 100% of what they're giving goes to the person. But at the same time, instead of just a blank donation, the person making the donation gets access to a discount app where they could save more than $39 in savings. So this way, I know the traditional model is donate here, feel good about it, which a lot of people do. Mercy for Animals on their website, I know they have they sell T-shirts. The WWF Australia to rehabilitate the koalas got like a stuffed koala when I donated to them. So I'm actually writing an article for the Vegan Review right now about raising money for, I guess, nonprofits and charity organizations. So maybe if I could spin this into a question, where I'm actually a board member of the Brave New Life Project. I interviewed them on this channel.
Amazing. Yes.
And they help people transition out of animal agriculture work into jobs that are more humane, sustainable, and prosperous. So just getting started, getting out there. So fundraising, getting the awareness, social media. When you mentioned going to tables at local events, I think they just got approved for one of those. So thinking of organizations like that or similar ones, what advice would you have to start getting funding and getting out there in a marketing sense?
Yes, I think the basic is definitely get yourself out there on all the social media platforms, make a Facebook page. You know, it's just a basic thing, especially with Facebook is great because people of all ages pretty much are on there. You've got the millennials, you've got the boomers, you've got, you know, everyone on there. Instagram, it's really, really great because a lot of people love and you can really play around with a lot of marketing strategies. So you can literally just have a text with some pretty background picture and make a big impact on that. So Instagram page, a Facebook page, get a web page going, because web pages are very underrated, I think, in the effect of what they can do, and work with a marketing agency where they can to get a web page going, because there's a lot of stuff you can do in comparing your web page with other web pages and making sure it flows rightly. Make use of, and again, this is very underrated, Instagram and social media influencers. So try to get them, you know, invite them to a walk around. So if you have Sanctuary, for example, invite them to have a walk around, and then make use of their social media as well to, you know, to post about the course that you're doing and what you're doing. If you have a product, obviously just send them a free sample and incorporate that into your web page. Again, very, very underrated, but people do look at web pages. They look you up, they check you out, what you're doing, what your offers are, and have like a little contact form for people like influencers who can contact you to to cooperate with you and to work with you. So again, those kind of things are very underrated, but they have such a good influence. Pinterest, another form, which is actually really, really good for marketing. Again, very underrated in a lot of forms. It's really good if you want to start looking into or just starting to play with paid advertising, especially because Pinterest, unlike Facebook and Instagram, are not as over flooded with paid marketing opportunities. So this is a good way to kind of like try to kind of figure out who your audience is and what works and what doesn't work. Yeah, and get yourself, again, Google your best friend, get yourself on Google, get yourself onto Google Ads. If you're a restaurant or like a physical business somewhere, make sure you get into the Google search results and Google Maps especially as well. It's, again, very underrated how many people look up things on Google or on Bing. Just try to get yourself into the search engines. And I recommend obviously working with a marketing consultant or an agency where possible, because they can give you tips and tricks on how, or even set it up and then show you how to manage this on an ongoing basis. So yeah, this is definitely the basics, but yeah, get a web page. That's the most underrated thing that I see on a daily basis.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the contact form, where a lot of people, like, was it 98% people visit your webpage, they leave it, and if you collect their email address, you can have an email newsletter that goes out every week. And that's something I'm building out now. So for creating a vegan world, so just people are just tuning in the first time on this, where I'm filming the documentary. These are the preliminary interviews. And I want to build up an audience on social media and email newsletters. Yes. So eventually I want to be on Netflix. So if I approach them saying, hey, I have 100,000 people, I have 1 million people who are ready to watch this, using that as leverage. So all the things you're saying I'm doing, where I just started YouTube, Instagram, Facebook.
YouTube, exactly. Yeah.
One thing I'm doing with
YouTube, YouTube takes a little bit more effort and more time, obviously videos and so on. So it's probably good if you have even like a social media volunteer that might help you with things. So you get a lot of like undergraduate people who just like to, step into helping, especially now during COVID, people seem to be a little bit more open for volunteering. So try to get like a social media volunteer who can help you with those kind of things. Get a logo if you can, because that sets you apart already from, and it can be something really, really simple. There's a great app called Canva where you can do all the kind of like social media graphics, and you can try to make your own logos and so on. So the branding part of that is also very, very important, I think, because that straight away sets people, it identifies you with your cause, and then people can, recognize who you are. And then obviously, if you want to go a step further, have a dabble into merchandise, like you said, t-shirt, even just little badges. You get them, we had them for the food bank that basically just said, I support Worthing Vegan Food Bank, and our logo on them. People love them, they fly out, and I think you buy them in for like 10p per piece, or 5p per piece, and people pay like 50p because they want to support you. So things like that, really, really important. And then in the charity sector, reach out to your local businesses, ask if you can put a flyer up on like a notice board in a cafe, or even like with any kind of like causes that or shops or restaurants that identify with your cause. Again, vegan businesses around here especially, they often have donation tins for animal sanctuaries. So yeah, try to think a little bit outside the box and play around with it. It's good fun. It's really, really good fun once you start, especially into that creative process.
Love it. You definitely know what you're talking about. I'm familiar with the concept. So I want to ask about the fundraising part in a second, but PR and like getting featured in different magazines, blogs. So let's say a local place or something like myself wants to be featured in a popular online magazine. Do you do like cold outreach email, or what's your process for that type of PR exposure?
Yes. So ideally start with little local newspapers. So this is usually your jumping board. So what we did for the food bank is we basically reached out to all the editors directly. So usually if you look on a newspaper's webpage, and this is again the heart and soul, you usually get names. So it's not just, some newspapers have editor at Telegraph, for example, because obviously those are the big guns, but the local ones usually have people's direct email address. So it's usually Sarah Smith at, you know, the Worthing Telegraph, or here it's the Worthing Herald. So try to introduce yourself, have like a little bit of a cover letter. It's basically a bit like an interview. You have a CV and a cover letter, and get a press release written. So either way, write it yourself or get someone, you know, who knows their media or their marketing to write a press release. There's templates also on Google. So if you're not sure, try to, you know, to find like a template for a course that you have. Write a press release and make a couple of nice pictures. Pictures speak, you know, more than a million words, in front of, like we had one in front of I think a pallet of pea milk that was donated from Mighty Peas, which was amazing. So yeah, just do something a little bit different and try to, you know, to make a couple of pictures that really present your course well. Maybe something that also pulls on the heartstrings. Again, animal sanctuaries are really, really good with some nice pictures with pigs or piglets or anything like that. Write a press release and then send it out via email to all of those agencies. Where you can, and find a phone number, phone them up, introduce yourself and say, you know, how can we work? Do you have like a charity section in your newspaper, or, you know, or a special section for whatever your course is, and make contact. Networking is key, especially on a local level. And from there, and this is a really good anagram for LinkedIn. Network is just going, one person knows another person who can introduce you to another person, and suddenly you are in a national newspaper. So yeah, just start local, try to introduce yourself, network, go to networking events where you see there's an appropriate one. There's so many media people often there, people who can help you with your marketing, with your social media, but then also introduce you maybe to someone they know that has, you know, that knows an editor there, or that knows a radio station or a TV station. And yeah, make yourself interesting to them, introduce yourself, and then yeah, just keep that networking going.
That's great. And for the charities and nonprofits, so getting people to donate, when I mentioned the past interview I did where there's a win for everybody, do you have experience with either that or just straight donations, and any tips for a nonprofit to get funding that way?
Yeah. So again, try to get your word out there as much as possible. Again, I go with what really helped us is we had volunteer t-shirts made. So literally just a t-shirt, if you have a logo or like a sentence or the name of your sanctuary on the back of the t-shirt. And people are so proud, volunteers are so proud to wear them out and about. So it gets people interested in going, and it gets you into conversation. So make sure people are not only behind your cause as volunteers and as donors, but also make them, you know, make them help you for free. So that's the first step. Ask them to share your social media posts. So any volunteer, always tag them in the social media post and ask them to share it wide. And obviously ask them if they have anyone who would like to be involved. And give people different options to be involved. So some people, and obviously I'm coming from a food bank position. So people might not have the means to help, but they would like to help. So again, say you can help for free by volunteering your time. You can help for free by doing this. Even just there's a couple of really great things like Amazon giving. So sign up with your charity for Amazon Giving, which gives you a special link that people can use, which is Amazon Smile. And they can nominate you as their chosen charity. So every time they shop with Amazon, you get a percentage of the sales that Amazon does. And that's completely free for people. And there's a lot of those kind of platforms out there. Just Giving is one of them. So you basically, anytime you click on something online, or you shop online with certain retailers, then your charity gets, you know, a commission, so to say, or a percentage of the sales, but that's completely free for people. And then obviously go into things like, you know, if you have again, food bank is fairly easy, because you can say, if you have like a can of peaches that has been sitting there for a couple of months, why don't pop them down to us? You know, if you find anything else in your cupboard that you have seen yourself not eating, just pop it down to us, and we can reuse that. Get in touch with your local supermarkets to promote you as well, especially as a food bank. You get those food bank trolleys when you're at the entrance of the supermarket, that people can just pop something in that they shopped. If you're an animal sanctuary, get to your local pet stores and ask them to put a box up, where people can donate food and can donate, and again, money donation boxes are the key as well, to have little hand money donation things. What we found very good as well, which we did during the lockdown. So people obviously were very restricted in terms of food, getting out there, often couldn't get food because the supermarkets were quite, empty. So what we started doing is we set up a table in a local park, basically popped food on that table, and people could come and, help themselves. They could come and donate some food, and other people could come and help. So we basically were like a mobile food bank. And obviously we also had like our donation tins, we had some leaflets, some information material there. There were people who never tried vegan food before and found it an interesting setting to find out more about veganism in itself. So we had like some vegan chocolates on the side as well that we could give to people and to kids especially. So it's a great way to do vegan outreach, as well as doing as helping people feel comfortable approaching the topic of veganism, or any topic that your cause might have. So something like that, just talk to your local council about setting up a table somewhere in your high street and give out free samples of your food, or of like little flyers with some buttons that people get for free, just to tell you a little bit more about how they can help. And this is how you get the word out there, and people wanting to help and identify with your brand, and in turn wanting to help to donate and tell other people about it, who then also donate, and so on and so forth.
That's great. It's funny you mentioned that. I just got my first Creating a Vegan World sweatshirt from a print-on-demand store I'm connected to, and it looks absolutely amazing. I should have worn it for this, but yeah, it's definitely something I added. So it's absolutely amazing. So as far as kind of going back to the bigger picture of like creating a vegan world, spreading the vegan message, a lot of things you talked about, using marketing to do it for charities, businesses, perhaps activism, or just reaching other people. Is there anything that everyday activists or people that want to get their friends to go vegan, or new people, any other advice for in the general sense?
I found, so I did quite a bit of activism. I used to do social media support with Animal Rebellion, if you've heard of them before. So they are a subgroup of Extinction Rebellion, which is quite big here in the UK. So I used to go out there and do live videos on Instagram and Facebook with when they had the marches and all those kind of things. So there's obviously a different approach for different people, and different people will have their heartstrings pulled with different things. So some people will really react things like the cubes that you get where they basically just stand and show you like horrific pictures of slaughterhouses. This is a big shock factor, and I think it has a point. So I really love the setup of the cubes, because people can approach in their own, they approach from their own interest, and not and not people in their face. So I think this is a really good method. But what I found works well is things like free food tables. Give people free food, give them an option to try food. So yeah, what we do locally here in my little vegan group is we often set up a table just with like different ranges of sausage rolls, of vegan sausage rolls, which is a big deal here in the UK. I don't know if you know Greggs, but that has been just spiraled. So everyone loves a sausage roll, and vegan sausage roll have really spiraled since Greggs, which is a bakery here, has brought them out, and they have been in the news, and everyone just wanted to try them. So their sales has surged for this. And there's different versions of different sausage rolls. So what we do is basically making a big, the Great British Sausage Roll Test. So we basically just set up different sausage rolls, vegan sausage rolls, and get people interested somewhere on a high street and get people to try them, so some people, and there's especially a lot of older people out there who have a son or daughter or a nephew, a niece, someone in their family who's vegan, and they are too shy to ask them about vegan food and don't know much about it. So they come to us, try the sausage roll and say, oh, this is really interesting. Where do you get that? And we say, oh yeah, it's actually vegan. And you get that in that supermarket. So yeah, try it out and buy that. And maybe, that then spirals into, people are trying more vegan food. Same thing with spreading the word in your family or even at your workplace. Bake a vegan cake or buy one, doesn't matter. Get a couple of vegan sweets and just put them there on the table, and people will try them and say, oh my God, this is great. Where did you get that from? Actually, it's vegan and from this and this place. So, it makes people a little bit more interested in it. So yeah, there's a German saying that says love goes through your stomach, and it's definitely it's definitely true when it comes to veganism and convincing people to try more vegan foods and having a more plant-based diet. But yeah, sometimes you just need to get into a conversation about health. So some people are motivated by health and by nutrition. So make sure you read up about vegan nutrition and especially meat versus a plant-based diet. Dr. Michael Greger with his How Not to Die book is outstanding. It's really, really great to convince people. There's so many facts, and it's written in such a great way that anyone can understand it. And the China study is something that I would recommend people to read as well. Again, there's a lot of stats in there and a lot of statistics and numbers, but it's written in such a nice way that everyone can understand it. So don't be shy to pick up those books from your local library. They're usually available in any library now, and give them a read.
Definitely. And I use audible.com or just listen to my books as I walk, and yes. It's so easy. But the thing you said about food, I think that is the way to reach most people with Beyond Burger specifically. My mother, she's not vegan, and like the older stuff would be just like too bland for her. She tasted Beyond Burger. She's like, I actually like this. This is amazing. And
it's crazy. Yes.
So getting really good food that tastes good is definitely one thing. And like you said, the tenets of marketing are like not everybody responds in the same way. Some people, they want to go the health route. Other people more environmental. I said on my last interview, I found veganism through boredom, where I built the internet business. I was traveling, and it's more of curiosity and a sense of community. I got invited to a potluck, made friends, got invited out. And that's what pulled me in. Of course, I stay mainly for the animal rights as well as the health aspect. So there's all that there. Yeah. So you shared an amazing amount of information. Do you want to talk about what you're doing or any ways anybody viewing this could help you or what you're looking for now?
Yeah, so I'm more than happy to do any kind of collaboration, help people with any marketing, social media marketing. Anyone who would like to open a vegan food bank, please come and contact us. So we are always here to to have a chat and help and give you tips and tricks about how to start your charity if you wanted to. Any kind of like anti-food waste schemes, we're more than happy to help. And so but mostly I'm more than happy and open for any kind of collaboration in that sense. Yeah, so just drop me a note on LinkedIn or any of our social media, and we can have a chat.
Do you have a website yet, or is your advice a message for you?
No, we do have, well, I don't have a website for myself, but obviously the food bank has all of it. So the food bank has a website. So if you're interested in the work that we are doing and want to have a look at our social medias, I'll share that with you, and you can share that. And I do have a Facebook page, and I'm on LinkedIn for my nutritionist. So any nutrition advice or anything like that, I can also help. I keep forgetting that I'm actually a nutritionist as well, so I can help you in that aspect as well. So yeah, we do. I do have quite a few social media links that I can share with you. So just drop us a message or an email, and we can get in touch.
Anybody watching this on YouTube, I'll put the links in the description. Same on Facebook. If it's a clip you're watching somewhere else or listening as a podcast, Creating a Vegan World on YouTube, just look for this interview, and the links will be there. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Awesome.